Welcome back to Elevation Perspective. My name is Mark, joined tonight with Frank Tropiano and Dan Quinones. We're talking Mets, a 1-5 homestand with the Diamondbacks and the Athletics. Shut out twice this weekend with the Athletics. It's really bad. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat it and say like, oh, like some nice things happened. Very, very few silver linings to take from this stretch. Frank, I'm going to throw it to you first because I kind of want a negative overreaction right now. I think if we go to Dan, he'll be like, it's early, it's fine. I kind of want like the raw emotion. How are you feeling? What's going through your mind right now?
All right, so I was like going back and forth in my head. I am not in panic mode yet. I think anyone saying this is a disaster, season's over, that's a little bit too much. That being said, 2 more weeks of this, and we're a month into the season, and we're 500 or a few games under 500. I think at a certain point, like they do have to get it together. You know what I mean? Like good teams don't. It feels like, and I guess like this is just the Mets experience, but it feels like we just even when we're good or supposed to be good, it always comes with caveats and like, all right, the whole thing was like we were getting rid of some of the guys from the last team, and I'm not going to talk about how Brandon Nimmo's batting 400 because when he got traded, I was not one of the ones that was like, oh my God, that's such a terrible loss. So I'm not going to be hypocritical and say that the guy who I didn't want to lose is batting 180 with one home run right now. So I'm not even going to talk about the guys that we lost because I think anyone doing that, that's just not an intelligent thing to do right now. There'll be time for that, but not right now. It just feels like these things happen to us that don't happen to good teams, and it's just like they can't shake the Mets stink or the bad franchise, bad team stink, no matter how much they try. They're gonna get an opportunity here too. So I'm looking forward to it. I want them to do it, right? A bad start, they can bounce back. We saw them do it in miraculous fashion, but that almost feels very Metsy, like doing things in the most miracle way possible, right? Now they have a chance to do it normally. Let's get back on track these next few weeks, and then I don't have to be negative. So I don't know if that was exactly what you wanted, Mark, but a little bit of both that thrown in there.
Yeah, no, for the most part, and we'll get into. I know you said if it's still like this in a couple of weeks, we have a real problem. And I think you're right. I think we'll get into that. But Dan, you can be the voice of reason here if you'd like to be. And how do you feel right now after the 1-5 homestand?
I'm definitely not going to say anything positive about the way they're playing right now. They are hot garbage. With so many new guys, you kind of have that expectation. Like, guys don't always hit the ground running when they go to a new situation. You would hope somebody did, but it's pretty clear a lot of guys look like they're still getting adjusted. April Lindor is we know what he is, unfortunately. Ben's just kind of still getting acclimated. It's just nothing's really going the Mets' way right now, which is unfortunate. My caveat is we don't even really need to leave the NL East to looking back the last handful of years to say that the beginning doesn't really mean too much. Like we don't even need to leave the Mets going back to 24. That team started way worse. We won 101 games one year and lost to the division to a team that was 500 at the end of May. 2019 Nats were like 12 under at the end of May. So way too early to really be too critical of this team that has so much talent. But yeah, I don't have anything positive to say about the way they're playing right now. Some of the pitchers did look good. Like today, it was a good outing by Peralta. McLean was good the other day, but Peterson and Senga were both very, very rough outings. For Mets fan sanity, you hope they turn it around quick, but I still have a bit of a leash before I hit the panic button.
And I think I'm somewhere in between the two of you where, yeah, we have 5 more months of this, 5.5 more months of this. Like we can't be freaking out right now. But at that same time, I'm looking at the team and I'm kind of wondering, like, what am I expecting to go differently? And of course, Juan Soto's not here. He's our best player. But I'm like, did I have too high of expectations for Brett Beatty? Or is he having a cold couple of weeks? Did I have too high expectations for Carson Bench? Like, I'm just trying to like rationalize it to myself and being like, did I think this team was too good? Did I think Luke Weaver was going to be a lights out reliever? Maybe that was foolish. I know that was kind of like an up in the air thing. So I'm just kind of like, and again, it's probably a little bit somewhere in between of we can't take these 2 weeks for gospel, but at that same time, I'm wondering like maybe I was too high on this specific group.
I still think that there's plenty of chance for them to succeed. I expect them to be in the division race. I expect them if they're not like winning the division, I expect them to be a wild card team. Maybe you knock 3 or 4 games off of what your original over under is, but do you think right now, even with all those questions that you have, that they're worse than an 85 win team?
No, I think
So
I think they'll be in that neighborhood.
So I mean, like the questioning the expectation. Sure, maybe they were a little worse than you thought they were going to be, or maybe they're not as good as we thought they were going to be. Do we think that they're bad or not a playoff team as of right now? I not listen. I'm the negative one here, and I can't get behind that right now. Like I said, give me 2 weeks, and if things don't really change, the Heat will definitely turn up. They need to start winning, but I can't sit here and say like, oh, they're not going to win. What got you in last year? 83? Was it 84 or 83? I think
83.
they can. I think they can get to 84 this year. Still, like like my expectations on the playoffs haven't changed.
Yeah, I think you had like reasonable questions like Beatty and Bench, but like when we get down to it at the end of the year, Lindor is going to be a lot better than he is now. Bichette's going to be better. Polanco's going to be better. Relievers are in like a weird spot because like after today, Luke Weaver come out have like 4 straight perfect innings. His ERA is still going to be terrible because that one awful inning. It's kind of tough way to judge relievers. You kind of have to almost go like game by game with them. When it comes down to it, a lot of guys that you can almost lock in are going to be better aren't doing it yet.
And just staying on Weaver, it's obviously a little unfair to say after back-to-back really bad outings. He blew them a clean win, and then he didn't blow the game, but the Mets were down 7-6. He left like a 4 spot. Tyler Soderstrom home run. The Heat totally let the game get out of hand. He doesn't look good. Like even when he was pitching well, even when he was getting good results, the first 4 appearances, whatever it was, like the velocity's down. He's not getting swing and misses. I'm just kind of watching. I'm like, this isn't really the guy the Yankees had last year. I know he had a bad second half. Now I'm wondering, like, was that bad second half the Luke Weaver now? I don't. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's too early to make these proclamations, but I'm a little like I was excited about the signing because of what he did well with the swing and misses, what he did well with the chase rally. He was a really effective pitcher. Just the ERA didn't show it, and now I'm like, he's not really doing these things that I thought he was going to do.
I don't know. See, obviously the games the last couple days, like there's some ugly outings, some bad pitches in there. There are some times where like I feel like sometimes like he's giving up hits or some good pitches that teams are fouling. I feel like this whole series with the A's, like even when the pitching was bad, when someone would make a good pitch, they're just fighting it off and putting like the good out pitchers are just getting fouled off, and the A's were just relentless. It's not like the A's should have rolled over and the Mets just handed them a series. Like the A's actually played very good baseball all weekend.
Yeah, the only just terrible performance was Senga. The rest of the pitching was pretty
It was
decent.
rough.
Denzel Clark was the best 150 hitter in the world this weekend because
He
there
looked
was
great.
multiple times where I'm like, all right, got to get him here before this lineup turns over, and they didn't, and then the inning got out of hand, and yeah, I mean he raised his average from like 150 to 170, and he did a phenomenal job doing it.
Yeah, no, the Mets were bad, but also tip the cap. The A's played some good baseball too. 'Cause they beat the Yankees too. They dropped their opener over there, then just took 5 in a row in New York. Like, not that the Yankees are playing much better, but like the A's weren't just gifted their 5 game win streak. They played good baseball this week.
All right, next note here. After the proclamation, after the declaration that Mark Vientos is back, he went 0 for 17 this week. And now suddenly I'm like, well, maybe he had a good 2 or 3 games, but it was a fun. Mark Vientos is back when we saw it.
Mm.
Hopefully he figures it out, but I feel like any excitement or expectation is totally gone.
If they get
Mm.
back on track, I expect them to make a trade for a real first baseman. I think if Beatty or Vientos don't like play consistently by the deadline, I think both of them could actually not see starting time consistently the second half of the season. One of them might even get traded if I think it's time. Like for both of them, like what are you? And if by the trade deadline we can't consistently get that, then Polanco will DH and they'll get a real first baseman. Like I think that that's just gonna have to be how it is. Like at a certain point, it's got to be a yes or a no with these guys. We can't live in maybe forever, and it feels like they've been maybe for 3 or 4 years now, and it's torture. It really is. It's the epitome of what we're doing right now. Right? We came on here last week. Oh, Mark Vientos is the greatest hitter of all time. Now we're coming here today, and it's like, oh God, I really don't want Mark Vientos to get another at bat this week. Like that's where we're at with these guys. It's Beatty too. He had a great half of the season last season. He's been awful, right? I mean, at a certain point, it's got to be yes or no. I don't know that I'm just frustrated with them, and that's probably me taking a little bit of the frustration of the losses out. So like I can acknowledge that maybe I'm being a little bit unfair to the two of them, but at a certain point, you got to get an answer, right?
Yeah, it's like just sticking on Vientos right now. I think the same way it was too quick to say, oh, he's all the way back. I think this week was too quick to be like, oh, this guy clearly has no talent left. Because like clearly there were 2 very different weeks. He probably falls somewhere in the middle. there was some bad at bats this week. You don't go for 17 without having some bad at bats. There was some at bats where you just put the ball in play, hit it at guys. Like you got to imagine it's somewhere in the middle. So not to be cliche, but still too early for me to be like, oh, that guy's good or that guy's bad.
And that's fair for sure. But staying with the bad, a lot of bad to talk about in this episode. Dan, you touched on with Peterson and Senga both not pitching well. Peterson 5 innings, 5 earned against the Diamondbacks. Senga went 2 1/3, 7 earned versus the Athletics. We saw Shamanaya actually look really good Sunday evening, which was really nice to see. Velocity was up a little bit. The sweeper, the curveball is moving really well. Do we think, I don't think with Senga, but with Christian Scott, with Jonathan, with Jack Wenninger, and now with Shamanaya kind of looking a little bit better, is David Peterson on the way out of this
Yes.
rotation?
Yes.
Hmm.
Like 100% yes. Like if I'm not saying he definitely is, but if he has a bad start tomorrow, and it's tomorrow, correct? We're playing tomorrow against the
In Los
Dodgers, right?
Angeles, David
Yeah.
Peterson gets the ball versus the Dodgers.
If he has like a really bad start tomorrow against the Dodgers, that feels wrong. It feels really wrong for the Dodgers game to be the one where it's like, yeah, we're gonna decide if you have a spot in this rotation or not. But what happened last year? They waited way too long to make changes, like way too long to make changes. So don't wait this year. Somebody will go down and Peterson will get another chance. I am confident of that. MLB rotations don't stay healthy the entire year, so.
And we saw a few roster moves just on that note the last few days, Frank. We saw Luis Garcia, we saw Richard Lovelady both out of the bullpen. And now we see Tommy Pham coming to LA. So I don't think Stearns is freaking out necessarily, but he is making moves. He's moving things around, and I wonder what Mendoza's leash is now. I know we talked about it last week, kind of like like he's probably on the hot seat. This team needs to make the playoffs. But now I'm like, all right, you're 2 games under. You now have a 6 game. You have a 6 game road trip with the Dodgers and the Cubs, two probably playoff teams. The Dodgers definitely. If this thing gets out of hand, if they go 1-5 again this next week, I wonder if they would pull the trigger at that point.
I said it to you guys. The I think all off season headed into this season, I think he's on the hottest seat in baseball, and it feels weird for a team that was supposed to have the success that the Mets are supposed to have for the manager to be on that hot of a seat. But like, what's the common denominator now, right? Like you keep going to the neck. Like, okay, Pete's fault. Okay, Nimmo's fault. Okay, pitching fault. Right? They changed everything. Who's the last guy that they can't change? It's Lindor, Soto, and the manager. And two of those guys are not going anywhere.
And Lindor has made countless mental errors in the
Where
first two
I'm
weeks of the
assuming
season.
that we're going to talk about Lindor later on. Like,
Hmm.
should I not? Because
I
I have
mean,
things to say.
we can do it now, Frank. But first off, I just want
I,
I want to
I
hear
would
what
say,
Dan
let's hear
thinks.
Den. Yeah.
Dan, they go one and
Hmm.
five with the Dodgers and Cubs here. Do you think this gets really loud with Mendoza?
I don't think it gets loud unless things are like stay how they are for another like month.
Okay.
Um, like again, I've said it before. I know last year was a train wreck. We were the best team in baseball until we couldn't put together a major league rotation. Like that's really tough to blame the manager on. And I know this year the talent is all there. But again, I feel like I can't really judge him too harshly for last year when every day before the game starts, we would look at the rotation. It was like, oh man, this guy has to pitch today. It was just such a tough situation with so many guys going down, especially when it's coming off a year that had no expectations and we almost won a pennant. Obviously, going back 2 full seasons now, it's that doesn't hold as much weight, but same thing. Last year was no manager was making that rotation work. This year, I think it's too quick. I think it's just so fresh, the train wreck that 2025 was, that people just want to see something happen. But I don't see a need for that unless things stay like this for a while.
To me, the other thing that is compelling about the whole manager situation is I think they have two great candidates now in-house for them if they decide to part ways with Mendoza in terms of JD Martinez and Carlos Beltran. I mean, we know Beltran was open to managing a few years ago when we hired him as the manager. I don't know if JD is, but like they have they have two names that they can turn to, and I think would energize the team and the fan base. And I think that is not helping Mendoza at all either. The fact that there are Hall of Famers, I don't know if JD Martinez is a Hall of Famer,
He's
but a
not.
really one of the great hitters of the last 10 years for sure. Just waiting in the wings and possibly being manager. You know,
Yeah, so I
Well,
definitely don't think that JD is in the conversation. I think he is more of a
yeah.
front office with Stearns. But I mean, Beltran, you definitely have to at least entertain the idea. But I do believe it's probably Kai Correa, the guy they brought in. He's the bench coach slash fielding coordinator guy. He's younger. I think he's from an analytical background. When they made that hire, a lot of people kind of said like that's a really smart hire for the Mets. He's a younger guy. They can see him grooming him into a manager. I don't know if they want it to be year one as a emergency break glass. You're leading the Mets now. You better make the playoffs.
On May 5th, yeah.
Yeah,
Happy Cinco de Mayo.
that's not ideal for sure. But and no, Dan, I know you kind of touched on it there, but to me, I felt like they got rid of everyone else except for Mendoza. Now I know Mendoza was Stearns' hire, so the rest of them were kind of from the previous regime, so it wasn't Stearns' guys. But I was like, it was such a terrible year, such a terrible ending. I just wanted to wipe everything away. And maybe that was unfair to Mendoza. I kind of partially acknowledge that. But at that same time, I was like, do we really need him here? Like, we couldn't bring in a new guy, a new voice in the room with all the rumors of the clubhouse being terrible, all the rumors. There was just so much like bad about this group. And then we just kind of, we got rid of a lot of the players, to be fair. Of course, Lindor's still here. He had a lot of negative stuff toward him. But after all that, like, did we really need Mendoza back, Dan?
So I feel like this week there's been a lot of touching on that. I feel I don't remember who brought it up, but Lindor came out and said something. It's like, yeah, I don't know where all these Nimmo rumors are coming. Like, I love Brandon Nimmo. Like, that guy is my brother. I love that man. We saw how much love Jeff McNeil got coming back today. We'll cross that bridge with Pete. I can't imagine there's going to be any animosity there because I feel like he's the most loved of any of those guys because he's just like the big lovable goofball. But yeah, during today's game, you watch Gary Cohen talked about it. It's like the on-field decision is probably 5% of what a manager does. Judging it just off of like last year's team falling apart, it's like, all right, let's change it up. It just feels if they decided to fire him after last year or gave him a really quick hook this year, not that it can't work, but I would have thought that's just a panic reaction just to see if something different can get a different result. I don't think there's really much there that says you should do this.
I like Mendy a lot too. Like I don't want like I'm not gunning for him to be gone. This is the way things work. You know what I mean? Like we're not naive to how things work. They're gonna look for someone to blame if things keep going south. And that's who do you blame in the middle of the season? You blame a manager. Like we're not dumb. Like we know the way these things work. And like yes, Stearns is supposed to be like the smart guy, smarter than everybody else. So you think he wouldn't make that rash move, but his job is on the line too. If we don't make the playoffs, I find it really hard for Steve Cohen to be like, we just spent millions of dollars on two separate teams. I gave you $200 million teams. Like, go ahead, go try for a third time because Bichette's going to be gone and Freddie Peralta's going to be gone. You know, he's going to have to build it up again. He's going to have to give out more short-term deals with large money, right? So I find it really hard to believe that Stearns is coming back if we don't make the playoffs, and which makes me believe that if things start going south and he thinks that he can fix it with another manager, he's going to have to let Mendoza go.
And Frank, we did a lot of these conversations in the offseason. I pushed back hard whenever you kind of took shots at Stearns. But yeah, if he doesn't make the playoffs this year with a $360 million payroll, we're going to have some really uncomfortable conversations about David Stearns.
And for the record, I'm not knocking him. I've said that I still believe that this is a playoff team. Like, I'm not going after Stearns. But the reality of the situation has to be, at a certain point, we have to be held accountable, right? Like, everyone has to be held accountable. He's going to have to hold his hire, Carlos Mendoza, accountable, and Steve Cohen's going to have to hold his hire, David Stearns, accountable eventually. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen, but if it does go that way.
And we're also at a point with David Stearns that this is now his team. For the longest time, he inherited this team. He didn't really make a lot of like crazy moves. Of course, Juan Soto happened. That was more of like a not organizational, not ownership, but that's a massive move. That's not really like a David Stearns, I'm going to go get this guy kind of move. And at this point now, he let all the old guys go, like the Brandon Nimmos, Edwin Diaz, Pete Alonso. We've done this over and over again. This is his group now. He is trusting this group. It's his coaching staff now. Like whatever happens here, it's David Stearns.
Just the amount of time that Cohen waited for Stearns to become available. I don't think there's any world, no matter how bad things go after the end of 162, where he is actually getting fired. I think it could just put him on more of a hot seat for next season, but I don't know. I don't think you wait 3 years for a guy to fire him after 2. We'll see. I mean, not to say he shouldn't be on a hot seat, but I just don't think it'll happen. I don't think there's anything that can happen this season that makes Cohen say Stearns is done.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of conversation that could be had there. I'm not ready to have that full conversation. Like, I know we just had a
Mhm.
pretty decent dialogue about it. But like, I'm not ready to do that with Stearns yet. I've made my peace with the fact that he's going to drive this team the way that he wants to drive them. So I want to give him every opportunity before I start really knocking him. And like I said, and I'm going to keep saying, I still believe that this is a playoff team. So I don't think David Stearns is going anywhere after this season.
And
Yeah, I
by
agree.
all
Like,
accounts, he's done a phenomenal job behind the scenes in terms of his hires, in terms of the development in the minor leagues. Like, non-Mets people have raved about what the organization is doing, but I keep going back to with this specific conversation, at some point the big league team has to win. And last year they have the number one payroll in baseball. This year they have the number two payroll in baseball, obviously behind only the Dodgers. You got to make the playoffs with an expanded playoff field. Like you have to, even if you lose in the first round, which would be, of course, be a failure. You got to get into the dance. All right, let's recap our picks from last week. It was a 1-5 week. Didn't go great for anyone. We'll start first. Francisco Lindor. The hit total was set at 5.5. Frank and Dan had the under. I did have the over. He did hit the over ever so slightly. He had 6 hits, which was nice. I appreciate you, Francisco. He had a couple hits today to get over the hump there. Still not doing much. Still does not have a run batted in.
I must say, does he have an RBI? He does not have an RBI.
No,
That's crazy.
he's still really bad, but he's getting
I
some
know that that's
singles.
situational. Like, I know that that's not all on him, but like, that's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to Carson Bench has like
yeah,
a 180 on
yeah.
base percentage. So
And then Alvarez batting nine just hits home runs, so doesn't really
yeah.
come up with men on a lot.
Next up here, David Peterson, 5 1/3 innings. Dan and I had the under. Frank had the over. He went five exactly, 5 innings, 5 earned. So tough there, Frank. You were right there. Next up, Mark Vientos, 1.5 home runs. Dan jumped on the over there. He really liked the matchup with Ryan Nelson on Wednesday. Like I said, Vientos went 0 for 17, so not even a
Ryan
hit.
Nelson looked great that day.
Dan had the over. Frank and I had the under. And this last one we all had the over for. Bo Bichette, 4.5 runs. He had 2 runs in the
Ugh.
sixth game. So
Ugh.
Did the Mets have 4.5?
it was pretty bad. Like it was a pretty, that's a good one, Dan. It was pretty bad. To recap here, through 2 weeks, I have 5 correct. Frank has 2 correct. Dan has 1 correct.
I have a little experiment today. I'm excited to see how this goes.
All right. Bring him
All right,
on.
we're
What do we
ready
got?
for our 6 games with the Dodgers and Cubs. First one, 2.5 wins in our 6 games with the Dodgers and Cubs. Frank, you can go first.
I'm taking the under. I'll do it. Like, you guys can take the over. You could look like the heroes, and then if it's right, I'll look smart. And then if it's not, I just don't. Do you think we're winning a game against the Dodgers right now? Dodgers are rolling. Like, the Dodgers are rolling. Like, we're gonna go to LA. We're gonna beat the Dodgers. No, we're gonna get embarrassed. 0-3 there. 1 win against the Cubs. One win week.
I would call it a huge win together this week 3-3. I think that'd be a
That'd be
huge
amazing. I'd
that would
throw
be
a
a
party.
huge victory. I don't care how we do it. I think the path would probably be 1 in LA and 2 in Chicago.
So most weeks, I would agree with your logic. One in LA, two in Chicago makes sense. The Cubs are playing worse baseball than the Mets. They just got beat down by the Pirates. They're, I think, 6-9. I think the Pirates in Cleveland, they haven't played good teams either. They lost their series at home with the Nationals to start the season. Like they're in a much worse spot than us. Cade Horton just went down. So they're playing some ugly baseball. That being said, this week I'm taking the under.
Taking the under. Okay. So tomorrow is Justin Robleski, who he's not great. We're throwing David Peterson though, so I think we'll lose like 12-7 or something. And then it's Ohtani and Yamamoto. I have to take the under. I don't want to. It's terrible to be like, yeah, we're gonna either go 2-4 or 1-5 this week, but that feels like the most likely outcome. It's very frustrating that our current bad stretch of play is leading into Los Angeles tomorrow. We have McLean going. Maybe he can throw a gem, but I don't know. We're gonna take the under. We're all gonna take the under 2.5 wins. That's sad.
It's a tough week.
Next up, Dan, I'll throw it to you first. 2.5 starting pitchers pitch into the 6th inning.
You know what? I don't even think I have to be. I think I'll just take the under. I think pitch into the 6th inning, you said, or pitch 6 innings?
Pitch into the 6th.
All right. As a part of my experiment, I will still take the under. But like I said before, the Cubs they're playing really bad baseball. I think you would think that at least McLean could do it. You believe Peralta can do it. I don't even know what to say about the Dodgers series. I'm taking the under.
I really don't want to take the under, but like, I mean, three guys are gonna go 5 1/3. I believe that. I'll take the over for this one.
I will take the over as well. It's not going to be pretty, but I think Dan, you kind of started doing the rattling them off. I think Freddie McLean and then Clay Holmes can do it. At this current point, I have no faith in David Peterson whatsoever. Kodai Senga feels like a total coin flip, and it's kind of where we're at right now.
Hmm.
But I will say three pitchers pitch into the sixth inning for the Mets this week. All right, this next one, kind of funny, kind of not. So Brett Beatty's one of like two or three qualified players without a walk or a home run this season. The number is zero point 0.5 walks plus homers. Dan, you go first.
I will continue to take the under. That's what I'm doing this whole segment. In a normal week, so Robleski, Otani, and Yamamoto for the
Yamamoto.
Dodgers series. In my head, I'm thinking like, oh, does Blake Snell get a start where everybody gets a walk, even though we still wouldn't score?
It's probably three righties for the Cubs because Matt Boyd is hurt right now. Justin Steele's hurt, so I don't really. It's probably
Imanaga pitched yesterday, I
oh
believe.
Imanaga. Is he?
Or was he 2 days ago?
I think he was yesterday, so we probably get Imanaga. So Beatty probably sits out 2 games this week at least.
Well, again, I will continue this experiment, and I'm taking the under.
Frank, does Beatty draw a walk or hit a home run this week?
Are we counting a hit by pitch?
That's
No.
not a walk or a home run.
I'll
No.
take the under.
I'll take the over. I'll say Brett Beatty either draws a walk or hits a home run this week. A little bit harder that he's facing two lefties now with Tommy Pham in the fold. I do expect Beatty probably sits out versus those two lefties with Vientos, Pham, Tyrone Taylor. There's just so many like bench righties now, but I will say he somehow muscles up a home run or the pitcher throws 4 wide ones to him.
That one feels easier.
And the last one here, I just touched on it. Tommy Pham is back. He's on his way. We're hoping he's the spark in LA that can turn this season around. 2.5 starts for Tommy Pham in these first 6 games.
I feel like I'm gonna have to take the under. Just again, this one is not a part of my experiment. He just had his ramp up was what, a week of low A and then a couple games in triple A.
He probably shouldn't be here
Are
right now.
yeah, tomorrow, maybe you get him in tomorrow against Robleski. I don't want him in there against Otani or Yamamoto. Again, I'd have to look at the Cubs, who they have lined up. Maybe you give him tomorrow because why not? And then he gets Imanaga. So the under feel a lot more likely.
Frank, 2.5 stars for Tommy Pham.
I'll take the over. Sure. Why not? I just like everything Dan said made too much sense. So nothing's made sense this season. So I'm going to take the over.
I'm going to take the under, but I don't love it. I think he does get the two lefties if we do get Imanaga, so he'll get Robleski tomorrow, then Imanaga over the weekend. And then if he has one good game,
I
Mendoza
was about to say, if he goes 3 for 3 tomorrow, he's
Yeah, I mean,
he's
like-
getting
Bat him lead
he's
off against
getting
Otani.
Shohei. Like if he goes 3 for 3 tomorrow, it's a Pham versus Shohei is going to be on the marquee for that game. Like
I think 2 starts is the most likely outcome here, but like we're saying, one good game and he gets a third star pretty easily.
this has not
It's 2
been
hits,
fun.
build him a statue.
It's not fun, Frank?
No, I can't believe that was the last one. I can't believe you didn't even mention Craig Kimbrell.
You wanted Craig Kimbrell for a prop?
I wanted a Kimbrell prop, like innings pitched or something like that. I feel like,
All right.
like, that would have been amazing.
This could be a fun bonus
Under.
one. He's at 1 appearance now. How many appearances before he's DFA'd?
Oh.
Minter went on a rehab today. Keep that in mind.
I'm gonna say 7.
Dan, I do get a bonus point because I told you last week that Lovelady's not making it to Minter.
That's true. He did
Yeah,
say that.
well done. He did. I thought that was a saving grace. I didn't think Kimber. I stepped away for like 30 seconds and Kimbrel's inning was over. How hard was he throwing? Did he get to like 91, 92?
I think he's like 92, 93. Like, he was okay. He looked fine.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I didn't know what to expect. When he didn't make the team, I didn't think we'd see him anytime soon. But
I was kind of panicking a little bit because he came in like after the Mets made it a game again. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's only up like 4 runs here. The game's going to be over. But that was Luke Weaver's job the next inning. But he looked fine. He was okay.
yeah, I thought I'd come back and be
That was
like,
the
oh,
guy that
look.
we expect to be in our long-term plans.
That was the $11 million guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you like that number that Frank came up with? 7.5 appearances before Kimbrel's gone?
That feels really high.
You think too much?
I think maybe he gets into like 3 more games, 4 more
It's
games.
just a conversation. We're not going to actually
Yeah.
like document this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think 3 more games. Somewhere between there sounds right, like 5, 6. Sure. Before we wrap up here, do we want to talk about anything else on this really exciting, fun week in Mets baseball?
We thought about talking about Francisco Lindor, but we didn't. We probably should wait. But I do think at a certain point with Lindor, how much smoke is there before there's actually fire? I think that it just feels like like this has been like a 2 year thing. We're bleeding into the third year of I don't know. And now the mental errors, and obviously he has the hamate bone, and he's never been good in April, so I'm not gonna I won't hold it against him too much. But it just feels like, man, all Juan Soto has to do is come out and say he's a great teammate and I love him, and it just feels like they can't ever get that answer out of each other. It's just so weird. I don't
That
know.
doesn't matter. That doesn't matter
I
Yeah.
know
for
it doesn't matter. I know they
I
don't
kind
have to like each
I
other.
think they have said that, just no one cares because it's not as
I don't think
fun.
anyone. I don't think anyone believes them is the problem.
I think
Yeah,
in the
so
case of
what are you doing?
Lindor, from a performance standpoint, it's the perfect storm of he's always a slow starter. He has the broken hand. He didn't have a spring training. It's freezing in New York. It's 30 degrees with crazy wind. Like it's the perfect storm of terribleness. It's not an excuse necessarily, but at that same time, now Juan Soto's down. So there's just so much attention, so much pressure on him. But the part I can't excuse is the mental stuff. He's made like 3 or 4 like just dumb plays
Bad,
and we're
bad
2 weeks
stuff.
in, like not knowing how many outs there were for the Peralta game, not being in the right position for a flip from Sam. Like, there's just been so many things where like this isn't Lindor. Like we know this. Like he's one of the smartest baseball players on any field he's on, and this guy he's making these mistakes that they're puzzling.
It doesn't make as much sense because like you said, he had the hamate. He didn't have a spring training. You would think like right now you're still getting into the motions. I don't know if he needs spring training to mentally prepare himself to get locked into the games, but yeah, like I don't have anything to say about the perform like the offensive performance because that's again, you kind of know what you're getting with Lindor in the beginning of the season, especially coming off an injury. You expect him to have a slow start and then just ease his way into another year where he gets MVP votes. But the mental part of it, that has been very uncharacteristic. So I'm curious to see if that once we get to May, like when he basically has his spring training of games through April, if he cleans that up. Because you would think he would. It's very out of character because that he's usually the opposite. He's usually the guy who's always like knows every little detail, knows exactly what's going on. But like you said, he had the play where he wasn't there for the flip for Semien, which I don't really think did much in terms of like the outcome of the game. I don't think there was a double play to be made there anyway, but you would think he would at least go cover. In San Francisco, he got that walking lead and just was not at all prepared for the pickoff throw, and he was just completely caught off guard that that was even a possibility. It's just very odd for a guy who's had a long career of being the opposite.
All right, I think we're gonna end it there. Is that good? Everyone got out what they want to get out on tonight's episode.
Good therapy session.
Yeah.
Hopefully, everyone enjoyed.
Listen, hopefully we're all wrong in that under 2.5 wins. Like I said, 3-3. Sign up for that right now.
Chef's kiss.
Regroup, get Soto back, start getting going toward beginning of May, end of April. I think we'd all sign up for that right now. But it's been fun, boys. Let's go Mets.
Go
Been a
Mets.
blast. LGM.